I hope you die too.
Yeah, well, join the club, sister.
I saw Sum 41 live earlier this year, and their opener band has a song called "If This Tour Doesn't Kill You, I Will," and it's all about just like the bullshit that you deal with as bandmates over the course of like your tours. So it was a great song.
That sounds funny, actually. Yeah, I might have to look that up.
That one was by, oh god, what are their names now? Pup. If anybody's wondering. And if this ends up in the episode.
Yeah, and I mean, it's either of those could go either way.
Yes. Welcome to VCR, Vintage Cinema Rewind, bringing old movies to new viewers. I'm Blake.
And guess what time it is, guys?
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Air horn sound effect.
That was a bad air horn.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I guess we could theoretically add our own sound effects, but we're not going to. It's our top 20.
Yeah, we've made it here. We're almost at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain. Remember, I think we called this Mountain B in our first episode.
Yeah,
all those years ago. Yeah. But now here we are. It's our top 20. We made it. This is the end. This is I've likened this whole event to like the Avengers Endgame of our podcast. So this is
the Avengers Endgame. Not appearing in my top 20.
Right, not mine either. This is the part where Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America fight Thanos. So yeah, we're fighting Thanos right now.
Sure. I'm not sure if I'm following the whole metaphor, but fine.
It slightly got away from me, but I may just lift Thor's hammer and bring it down on this table. Yeah.
This is a PG-13 rated podcast.
Is it? This is the first time hearing of that.
Well, it's definitely explicit. I put the explicit on all of our episodes, or they're putting on for us. So,
okay, tight.
You say too many F words.
It's true.
For us to be family friendly,
and I can't help it. It's
that's a problem that I live with you.
I know. Do you remember one time when you invited me to like a work event to see the second Avatar movie, and you were like, "There's gonna be kids here. You can't swear," and like. We were in line to get popcorn, and for some reason I said shit about something, and I was like, oh, come on. Like, come on, Michael.
Come on.
Get your shit together. I did it again.
True. Preamble. I have one thought before we get started into this.
Okay, just one. Let's do it.
Yeah. Usually I'm a single thought kind of person, so this is pretty par for the course. I was thinking about this while I was building my list, especially in the top 20. I was like, there was a point in my list where I was like, you know what? These movies are all more or less tied for my favorite movies.
Okay.
And I was kind of wondering if like you kind of came to that same conclusion. If you have a definitive number one, or if it's like, oh, 1 through like 4, 1 through 3 are more or less equivalent, and they kind of just shuffle around.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that like my top 20 are movies they're all movies I would personally consider perfect.
Yep.
Or at least, like, they're movies that you could throw on any one of these 20 movies at any time. I'd be like, oh, okay, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it could be 3 a.m. I could be dying, and you could be like, do you want to watch X? And I'd be like, oh, okay, I can stay awake for that. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess, yeah, they're kind of equal but different, but some are more equal than others.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, it's actually, once we get to number 5, I consider my top 5 more or less equal. And on any given day, I could probably explain or reason why one of my top 5 is actually my favorite movie instead of what I have here on my list currently.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're pretty interchangeable, those top 5. And this is just kind of like how I feel about them in this particular moment in time. But honestly, you could look at any one of those 5 and say that I would consider it my favorite.
There's actually one that what I would have previously considered my number 3, in the process of creating this list, it dropped to my number 19.
Wow.
Yeah, which I was actually surprised by.
Yeah, that is a big jump. I don't think I had that big of a jump for any of my top 20. I did have, that's a lie. I did have 2 that increased significantly on rewatch, where I was like, you know what? I'm lying to myself if I don't put these in my top 20.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time with my number 1 being like, is this still my number 1 after all these years?
Yep.
And I rewatched it. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. It's still my number 1.
Nice.
Still my guy.
If you had to guess on your top 20 how many we're going to have in this top 20 that are in line with each other, how much crossover we're going to have, how many do you think that we are going to have for crossover? I'm just counting mine right now that I think might cross over with yours.
I think we're going to have at least 2. Yeah, at least I'm not going to say what they are, obviously, but I think we're going to have at least 2 that I know we both are really fond of, and they haven't appeared on our list so far.
Cool. I think at least 4, potentially 5.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think this is where we're actually going to have the most crossover. And there might be a couple movies from like that were way lower on my list or vice versa compared to your list.
I should say, if you're like a repeat listener, Blake and I counted. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies on my top 20 that we have covered on the podcast.
Yeah.
Some, they were already one of my favorites, so that's why we did it. Others, I liked them so much that I was like, oh, this obviously is getting onto my number, my top 20. But
right.
And I think you have 7. I
Yes.
have 9, you have 7.
Yeah, mine was about 7, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not to say that I haven't talked about any of these other movies before on the podcast. I've certainly, I think all but maybe 2 of them I've talked about on the podcast before. Cherished, loved, maybe been on top 5s from prior years. But yeah, no, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about.
Maybe
before we get into it.
Just bring this up before we get into it. There's
Yep.
about 2 entries in my top 20 that you have mentioned somewhere on your top 100.
Yeah, I've got at least 2 as well here. Maybe 3. I can't remember if you had that one on there or not. But anyway.
Okay, cool. Well, I think it's your turn to start.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So
Okay.
start us off, Blake.
So my number 20 is a movie you and I have done on this podcast. This is one that I think might be a crossover in this episode because neither of us have talked about it yet. And I know it's a movie that you and I both love. I wouldn't be shocked if you told me that it was the same spot as mine right now. But we're about to find out. It's a movie that, in my opinion, has the best 20-minute opening of a movie ever.
Spaghetti.
You already know exactly what this is. That's hilarious. So I guess for the rest of you, it is Silence of the Lambs.
Hey, great movie.
Yes.
That's one of those movies. We did this in the summer of 2023, and that's one of those movies where like I don't think I ever go into any movie with like a bad attitude, but like, I kind of walked in like I turned this movie on like I don't think this is going to be for me, but then I was like, oh fuck. This is for me, all right.
Yeah, no, this is one of those movies that like I saw when I was probably like 18, 19 and went, wow, that was really, really, really good. And then didn't really think about for a long time. And then, we kind of bumped up to it in the podcast a couple years ago. We rewatched it.
Jodie Foster month. I remember that shit.
And it just blew my mind all over again. Like Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Ted Levine, all fantastic in this movie. Like I said, the first 20 minutes of this are just pure cinema. Absolute cinema.
I know I saw an interview with Anthony Hopkins, I think recently, where they asked him about playing Hannibal Lecter, and he kind of admitted, he's like, well, they did such a good job in the first 20 minutes, like building me up, that I didn't really have to do anything. I just had to stand there and say my lines. And I was kind of like, that's weirdly kind of humble of him to just be like, I don't know, I just showed up and...
Nah, I could see Anthony Hopkins being a pretty humble guy. He's like, considered one of, if not the best performers of all time.
Yeah, I guess at that point, you're humble.
Yeah.
It's almost you're proud enough to be humble.
Yeah, I watched this whole breakdown like years ago when Westworld was in its first season about like just how great of an actor Anthony Hopkins is, and it just broke down like 2 minutes of his screen time in there and just like all of the minor details on his face and everything and all like what he's able to achieve in performance. And yeah, like this is also just kind of one of those other films where you could just clearly show as an example of this might be one of the greatest performances of all time.
Yeah, and justice for Ted Levine because he's also great in this movie as Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, it's just like, how do you compare to Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster? Right?
Yeah,
like,
I know, right?
It's unfortunate.
But we see you, Ted Levine.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see you and we love you.
Yeah, so I'm not going to talk about this one too much because, again, we've done this on the podcast before, so I don't feel like I need to get into more detail than that. But yeah, my number 20, Silence of the Lambs.
Okay, tight. So my number 20 is not Silence of the Lambs.
I thought we were going to have... That was the highest potential to have crossover.
Well, unfortunately, Silence of the Lambs did not make it onto my top 100.
Wow!
As much as I liked...
What?
As much as I liked the movie, it just... All these other ones, it kind of got... It didn't quite break it the top 100.
That's wild to me. That actually blows my mind. That was my, like... definitive. This one's going to be a crossover this week.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I just wasn't for me, I guess. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Wow.
Anyways, my number 20 is also a crime movie. It's a movie I'd heard about for a long time, and then I finally sat down to watch it with Mike, the other Mike, not me, and not the Mike you were just talking about earlier, a Mike I used to live with. Anyways, there's too many fucking Mikes. But anyways, it's a movie that I didn't expect to be as funny as it was, and I rewatched it over the summer in preparation for this and was still laughing my ass off.
Nice.
And that is Mary Herron's American Psycho.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Really, really good. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen this movie, but it's a very young Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman, the world's worst Wall Street executive, and how he descends into madness and blah, 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 blah. Like, no, honestly, this movie, like, the scene where they compare business cards, I think is genuinely, like, top 5, one of the funniest scenes in cinema, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, just, yeah, this movie is really, really good. Like, I love when Patrick Bateman is like, hey, like, Kelso, keep it down with the anti-Semitic remarks, or, like, stuff like that. Also, you get to watch Jared Leto get murdered, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I haven't approached American Psycho in a decade or more. Like, that's one of those film journey. I needed to see this when I was a late teenager, and I remember being like, wow, that was something else.
You know what, though? I think you need a little perspective, especially as a man, to see this movie.
Yeah.
Because as a slightly more mature man, you're like, oh, this guy sucks, right? I saw some interview with Christian Bale where he talked about how, like, Wall Street guys would come up to him on the street and be like, yo, man, I love Patrick Bateman. And Christian Bale would be like, yeah, but, like, ironically, right? And they'd be like, no, really? So, anyways, yeah, great movie. It was also written and directed by a woman. Yeah. Which I always think is kind of cool. Like, there's kind of... I had this conversation with someone a while ago. It's kind of like a feminist movie in a way. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it. That one's high up on the rewatch at some point.
Okay, well, American Psycho.
Yeah. My number 19 is one of my favorite movies to rewatch on almost an annual basis at this point now. I've seen this movie quite a bit. It's one of my favorite Francis Ford Coppola movies. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It's Apocalypse Now.
Hey, good choice.
Yes, Apocalypse Now is without a doubt my favorite war movie of all time. I kind of can't believe this movie got made, and neither can anyone else who was on set of it.
I not to cut you off, I started watching Hearts of Darkness earlier this year, and I had to turn it off because it was too stressful.
I actually did watch Hearts of Darkness as well this year.
Nice.
It was on Prime or something like that, so I was like, oh, I should check this out, and I really loved it. I thought it was such an informative documentary. It's really cool that Francis Ford Coppola's wife was able to record so much while they were filming and kind of document so much of it that they could kind of go back and make this documentary years later. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? This is one of the few movies on my top 20 that we haven't done that we absolutely need to at some point.
It's kind of wild that we haven't when you think about it.
I mean, it's just such a classic, right? Like, I probably find myself talking about Apocalypse Now several times a year to people and recommending it to people because I'm like, this is one of those movies that just is so insane that it somehow is able to just capture your attention and hold your attention for 3 hours or however long the version that Francis Ford Coppola has in whichever place you're looking for you'd watch it on. But
we should bring up Marlon Brando too. Like, his performance as Kurtz at the end is still genuinely one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in this movie is on fire, right? Like, there's just no bad performance in this movie. I would just list like every actor right now, but we don't have time for that, so...
Ain't nobody got time for that. We got things to do.
I think this, again, is a pretty self-explanatory movie to have in my top 20. It's just a pure masterpiece, and it's, again, one of those movies that it's like, I can't believe that this was made. This is like an achievement all of in its own.
Yeah, it's a miracle this movie is as good as it was.
Yeah.
As it was /
that they were even able to finish it.
Really. Yeah, like, really.
Yeah, fantastic film. Number 19.
You know what's funny? Who's the black guy?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Right, Lawrence Fishburne. the whole thing about how he got hooked on heroin while filming this movie. It's funny how it's like he's like, yeah, I got hooked on heroin filming this movie. And it's kind of like that is the least of this production's problems.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Hearts of Darkness, I would recommend that anyone who is a fan of this movie go check out because there's some pretty crazy stories that are associated with this movie.
Tight.
And they even get into like quite a bit of detail about the scene where Martin Sheen kind of loses his mind and they just keep filming through all of the insanity that happens and him slicing open his hand and everything else. So
it's kind of like when Vincent Price fainted on the set of Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton was like, keep rolling. I'm going to use this. Okay. My number 19 is a movie that we've done. And again, it's a movie that I used to say was my number 3, and it has somehow fallen to number 19. But again, my only real goal with this list was to be honest, no matter how stupid or preposterous it makes me sound. Anyways, all that being said, my number 19 is The Big Lebowski.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's dropped quite a bit.
It has, which surprises me because I do, even though it's dropped so much, I still consider it the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Despite everything, So I don't know. Maybe it's a case of like I've just seen it so many times over the years, and like there's some other shinier, slightly more interesting movies that have risen up. But no, this movie's great. I think the episode we did on it in particular is some of our best work as podcasters. Like, like Walter, the dude, Donnie, like what is there to really say about this movie?
I mean, we've said a lot about this movie.
Other than we don't roll on Shabbos.
Shabbos, Michael.
What, am I just supposed to fucking return it like it's a library card?
Yeah, that's probably one of my most quotable movies for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely love The Big Lebowski. I'm so glad that we've covered it on the podcast. I could probably do like 3 more episodes on it, honestly.
Probably. I mean, I do find it kind of funny that and we talked about this in our episode. You guys should check that out. That what's his name? Or that the Coen brothers themselves are kind of like, yeah, I mean, we like it, but we don't understand the appeal. And it's kind of just like, well, just milk it for all it's worth, guys.
It's like your opinion, man.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. So yeah, The Big Lebowski, number 19.
My number 18 is our crossover with you. It's one of my favorite movies from the 2020s, and that's Godzilla -1.
Hey,
Yeah.
I remember that movie.
Yes, I absolutely adore this movie. I think it's one of the best foreign movies of the last 20 years. I mean, I think it's one of the best movies of the last 20 years. Just, it is pure movie excitement, right?
It's
like
absolute cinema.
Yeah. It's just, I've talked about this several times now. It's been on my top 5s before. I've talked about it top 20 or top 10 of the 2020s. Like, this one is not new to our podcast, even though we haven't done a full episode on it. But yeah, no, I think that this is just pure magic. And if you're somebody who hasn't seen a Godzilla movie, I think this is a great entry point. It's widely considered to be one of, if not the best Godzilla movie ever made, which is saying something because there's something like 40 or 50 or 70 Godzilla movies.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, it has very, very deservedly won that title. Like I've talked about this movie, it almost doesn't feature Godzilla apart from the first 5-10 minutes for another 40-50 minutes after that, and you kind of just don't care because the characters are all so compelling.
Yeah, I said this when I brought it up on my list, but like watching this movie was kind of like, and I said this before, like as creative types, we sometimes like really get lost in the weeds of like theory and the philosophy and stuff like that. But watching this movie was kind of just like, oh, it's not that hard. You just need a sympathetic character and you put him in peril, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your movie.
Well, yeah, and every character in this movie is just so endearing and lovable. Like, it's just such a perfect story. Like, this is one of those all-time best scripts with just top-notch performances from all of the actors involved. The production values, the special effects are amazing. It's just incredible. Like, again, I can't recommend this movie enough, and I have not recommended this movie enough. I've talked about it a lot, in both on the podcast and off the podcast. So,
okay.
Number 18, Godzilla -1.
Number 18, Godzilla -1. Okay, my number 18 is, I remember seeing trailers for this movie when it came out and thinking like, that looks kind of dumb. Like, I don't know why I would bother watching that. And then a few months later, I was crashing with you, and I had just suffered my first real heartbreak. And you put this fucking movie on, and it cheered me right up. And it's a movie that I genuinely think is without flaw.
Wow.
I don't know how. No, seriously. Like, I've never heard anyone say a bad word about this movie. And that is Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It's the story of Miles Morales and how he rises to the occasion and becomes Spider-Man. And honestly, yeah, that's one of those movies where like I feel like every single person I've heard talk about this movie has been like, wow, that was great. Like that was really, really good, right? Mm-hmm. I certainly have mixed feelings about the sequel, but in general, I think this is genuinely a perfect movie.
I have mixed feelings. I think that it's one of, if not the best animated film to date in terms of just the production value. Like the style that this movie has is uncomparable.
Oh yeah, easily.
I think that, watching it a second time, some of the magic was lost on me, and that's why it ultimately didn't appear on my top 100. However, I do think it is one of, if not the best Spider-Man movie. It's one of, if not the best superhero movies. It's just didn't quite make my list.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool movie.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that's my number 18, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I'll probably be like 45 years old before Spider-Verse 3 comes out, but whatever.
My number 17 is a movie that we've covered on the podcast. This one's actually a Jason and I movie that we watched on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure you and your roommate Mike the first.
Is it The Thing?
No, it's not The Thing. It's a movie that, and I'm going to give it away with one of its quotes that is one of the best quotes of the whole movie. Don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat coming around the corner.
Oh,
that's Heat.
Is it Heat? Yeah.
It is Heat. Yes. Michael Mann's Heat.
I love it when they drop the title in the dialogue.
Yes, it gets dropped a number of times in this movie. I mean, not only is it Al Pacino and Robert De Niro going head-to-head in one of the greatest crime stories ever told, it's just a beautiful film shot in LA that feels really timeless in a sense. It's, a classic cops and robbers kind of story that it's epic. It, I think, has probably the best sound design I've ever heard in a movie. When they start shooting the shootout in the middle of LA, it's like you'll never hear another gun sound quite like that in another movie. It's really truly a special film that I know a lot of people really love, and that's my number 17, Heat. I again don't want to talk too much about it because we've done a whole episode about it before.
Yeah, so I remember I wasn't on the podcast at that point, but like we all watched it together but separately.
Yep.
That's a movie that I remember liking, but I also don't remember much about it. I don't think it really spoke to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just not in your genre wheelhouse. You're
You're
kind of blind to crime.
I'm blind to crime.
You're blind to crime.
I'm just so innocent that I don't get it. But yeah, that's a good choice though.
Yeah.
My number 17 is a movie that you randomly showed me over the summer break last year. Excuse me, over the winter break last year, which I think is part of why I liked it so much, the timing. And it generally, all I'll say is that this is a movie I'm grateful I saw at 32 as opposed to 22. Because if I'd seen it at 22, I think I would have taken the wrong message from it.
Huh.
And that is Damien Chazelle's Whiplash.
Oh!
Yeah.
Hello, Whiplash.
Hello. I remember your wife saying, I can't watch this movie, it's too stressful. And like halfway in, I'm like, oh shit, Jess was right. So Miles Teller is a prodigious young drummer, and J.K. Simmons is the worst teacher you've ever fucking had.
Or the best, depending on your perspective.
Well, I think I'm right. But yeah, and it's just about how this weird tug-of-war battle of wills between these two people, right?
Right.
Literally from the first scene, this, J.K. Simmons is this really well-known music jazz teacher is kind of already fucking with Miles Teller.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm glad I saw this as an adult as opposed to a child is because Miles Teller basically destroys himself in pursuit of his art. Mm-hmm. And I think if I'd seen this as a kid, I would have been like, yeah, I want to do that.
Right.
I want to completely destroy myself for no fucking reason. As an adult, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, this is a little much, right? So you don't actually have to be a total prick to achieve great things. So anyway, yeah, great movie. I have nothing but good things to say about it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that is a fantastic film.
And I mean, what's his butt? J.K. Simmons won the Oscar for this movie, and like very deservedly
Very
so,
deservedly.
right?
Yeah. I mean, he's incredible in everything, but this one is just like such a tour de force performance.
Oh yeah. So Whiplash.
My number 16 is my favorite David Fincher movie. It's, one of those film bro movies that I think if you consider this movie, if you have negative opinions about this movie, it just means you haven't seen it recently, and that's Fight Club.
Really? Fight
Yes,
Club.
Fight Club.
Nice.
I rewatched this over the holidays last year. It's a movie that's near and dear to my heart because it has one of the all-time greatest movie twists. It's a movie that just has like such a dark energy to it that it's hard not to kind of fall in love with this movie. And there are plenty of people who have maybe gotten the wrong message from this film over the years.
It's certainly kind of become. It's certainly become timeless in that sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was not well received when it came out, and over the years has grown a massive cult following. I think, again, some of the performances in this movie are just all time. Like, this is my favorite Brad Pitt performance, my favorite Brad Pitt movie. And I think that, again, you can get the wrong messages out of this one, but it is at its core a movie about men and the struggles that we go through, and just like how sometimes that manifests into like really dark and problematic
destructive behavior. Yeah.
So yeah, it's immaculately directed. I think David Fincher is one of the best filmmakers of our time, and I'm super interested to see him and Brad Pitt teaming up again to film a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel together that was written by Quentin Tarantino.
I have mixed feelings about that.
You shouldn't, because everything about that is incredible.
I'm curious. I have mixed feelings about Tarantino, so
yeah.
But I'm curious to see how that pans out.
I am very excited. We will maybe even do an episode about it when it comes
Well,
out.
if you can drag me to it.
I will drag you to
all right,
it.
I'll probably see it.
So yeah, my number 16 is Fight Club.
Okay, tight. I kind of totally forgot about Fight Club, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that might have... I'm just going to say that's 101 on my list. Because
You've had 2 101s at this point, I think.
No, I only had the one. Because I'm still counting Red versus Blue Reconstruction. But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, cool. My number 16 is a movie that we have done a podcast on. Blake, did you know that I'm sometimes forgetful?
No, really?
So you texted me one day, like a couple Novembers ago, being like, are you ready to record tonight? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, okay. I was like, what movie are we doing again? And you're like, we're doing this. And I went, oh, okay. And I watched it on my laptop in my bed, kind of in a panic, because I'm like, oh, shit, I got to watch this fucking movie real quick. And I was, surprise, it was one of the best films I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
And that is Sidney Lumet's Dog Day Afternoon.
Yes, that's high.
Really? I really liked it a lot.
Bravo, Sidney Lumet. Bravo.
Yeah, no.
Everybody else involved.
It's a great movie. Al Pacino's best performance, Chris Sarandon's best performance,
Yes.
I assume. It's I didn't know what to expect wandering into this movie. I don't know what to expect for anything ever.
This one's kind of a weird black hole in that I feel like it's just somehow fallen out of the culture, and yet it's so relevant still today.
Yeah, Attica. Also, John Galsey is great as the weird guy who might kill everybody.
Fantastic in every movie that he appeared in, all 5 of them in the 70s before he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, it really does kind of make you wonder, like, what could this guy have done if he was still alive?
I mean,
right?
he was married to Meryl Streep at the time, and he probably would have been the male Meryl Streep.
Yeah, so very sad, but we did get this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I think it's a genuine masterpiece.
Very much agree.
Yeah, especially it's and again, a lot of it is carried by Pacino and his like really electric performance.
Yeah.
I think when we did the episode I talked about how like weird it is seeing like a normal Al Pacino as
A
opposed
reined in Al Pacino.
yeah, as opposed to how unreined he became later in his career.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, nothing but respect.
Cool. Good
on you, Sidney Lumet. You did it.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so happy to see that so high up on your list.
Yeah, I think I liked it even more than you did.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, well.
Made my top 100, but not quite as high. That's the furthest gap that we've had now.
Okay, wow.
My number 15 is a movie that I actually can't remember if it's on your top 100 now, but I think it just managed to squeak in. It's one of the last movies that I ended up watching on my top 20, and it stayed in the same spot because I think it's a masterpiece. It's one of the greatest apocalyptic dystopian films ever made, and that is Children of Men.
Wow. That was like my number 80 something.
Yes. Okay.
Wow,
So that's our furthest gap other way around.
Okay.
Now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I mean, this is just a flawless movie. It's shot incredibly well. It's so inventive. The cinematography, like the different ways that they film different scenes, it feels like you're a part of the action the whole way through this movie. It's very poignant. It's, a film about the final years of humanity. Like, we haven't had children in 18 or 19 years at this point, and suddenly this girl appears who appears to be pregnant, and Clive Owen's character has to basically bring her to safety in order to hopefully potentially find a cure to what's happening around the world.
And
also protect this child from like political becoming a political tool,
like machinations of the state.
Yeah, and other kind of
that guy from Trainspotting too.
Yeah,
protect her from that guy.
Yeah, all sorts of people who are maybe planning on using this child for ill purposes.
Mm-hmm. What's his fed? Clive Owen.
Yep.
I feel like he's famous, but like he's also slightly underrated.
I very much agree. Like, this Sin City.
He was in. I rewatched the first Jason Bourne movie earlier this year. And
oh, no way!
He was in it, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, Clive Owen.
Yeah,
and he's fantastic in that too.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of one of those actors who's probably just picking the stuff that he wants to do and kind of sticking to that. Like he's there to kind of make art, and I'm really glad that he made Children of Men because I do view this as art. I feel like I don't even fully understand all of the ideas in Children of Men. Like I think that this is one of the deepest movies in my top 20. And you could probably write an entire novel about Children of Men and all of the ideas that it has in it.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond all that, putting the ideas to one side, it's just a thrilling, desperate movie.
Yes.
It's an incredible thriller.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of those all-time openings with Clive Owen in the coffee shop to one of the best, most poignant endings in a film, and I absolutely love it.
You don't even like ambiguous endings, but you liked this one.
I don't know if it was all that ambiguous, so
okay.
I felt hope at the end of this movie because that's ultimately what this movie is about, is hope.
Okay, tight.
Yeah.
So my number 15 is actually a documentary. I think it's the only documentary on my list, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. Sound off in the comments if I'm fucking wrong.
I think I know which one it is.
So you might not. So this is a movie that I saw in college, and it's genuinely one of the most emotionally affecting films I've ever seen. So it's called Dear Zachary, a letter to a son about his father.
I believe I have heard of this.
So basically, all you really need to know is that the documentarian and director, Kurt Keane, I apologize for getting your last name wrong, his friend Andrew was murdered by his ex-girlfriend, only for it then to be discovered that the ex-girlfriend who murdered him was pregnant. So she gave birth to the son of the man she murdered, the documentarian's best friend, named Zachary. So,
okay.
And then it just becomes this really complicated legal battle about, like, Andrew's parents are trying to get the baby away from this woman who's still in prison, but, like, she's been arrested for murdering her ex-boyfriend, and it's this it becomes this really complicated, like, back and forth with the legal system. So, genuinely, At one point, the narrator even starts crying during this movie.
Wow.
It's really, really good. It's one of those movies where, like, I don't think it did super well, like, financially, but, like, I've met a couple strangers where I'm like, have you seen Dear Zachary? I'm not, like, approaching strangers on the street and being like, have you...
On your feet?
Yeah, on my feet. Whoa, man, that failed both counts. But I'm not approaching strangers on my feet being like, have you seen Dear Zachary? But I met a few people over the years who were like, oh, yeah, I've seen that movie. And I'm like, wow, cool. So, yeah.
Cool. I will check this out at some point. I believe this is actually your second documentary on your top 100 because I'm pretty sure you had Grizzly Man. We've talked about it.
Oh, I did have Grizzly Man on my list. Fuck.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's why I was thinking it was Grizzly Man, and I was like, but you did Grizzly Man already.
I did do Grizzly Man, didn't I?
Yeah. So you're a liar.
Well, the jig is up, fellas. So yeah, Dear Zachary, the second documentary on my list, and maybe not the final one. I'm kidding. It's the final one.
Fair enough. My number 14 is our first top 20 crossover. It's one of my favorite movies of the last 15 years. It's one that my cousin tipped me off to, and then I showed you, and it made it onto your top 20, and that's Whiplash.
Oh, shit. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, I think that this movie, again, is one of those, just has some sort of magical energy to it that it kind of whisks you away from the first scene. It was such a smart idea to have the first scene show both of the main characters together and not do some sort of like weird build up with each one of them separate. Like it's just pure magic from the opening shot of this movie.
Yeah, it's absolute cinema. They're in conflict right away.
Yeah, and this is one of those movies there. I think both of these actors probably could have won a best performance. Obviously, Miles Teller was much younger, so he's got a lot more time to win a best Oscar performance. But yeah, I have no notes for this movie. Like it's just one of those flawless films that, again, I don't know that I would have necessarily at a younger age aspired to be Miles, because I think I went the opposite way in my early 20s, where it was like, you know what, I don't need to strive to be the best, the most efficient at what I do. I don't need to sacrifice all of my life for my career or my job. I can balance. I can find a balance in my life, and that became something that was extremely important to me in my early 20s.
Okay.
So
well, Blake, you arrived at that a lot sooner than I did, but congratulations.
Yeah, but that being said, though, I think that this has one of the best movie endings, the best ambiguous movie endings, because depending on your viewing experience, how many times you've seen this film, you can take a lot of different things from the end of this movie. Like, is it a happy ending? Is it a sad ending? Is it the darkest ending? I think that just everything about the end of this movie is just one of those things that we could just spend the next hour talking about on this podcast. Maybe at some point we will devote a whole episode to this movie, because
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think this is one that could be discussed and analyzed for a longer form episode. I'm kind of just always now on the Damien Chazelle ride at this point. Like, I've only seen Whiplash and Babylon. I haven't seen La La Land yet, but I've heard such good things about La La Land, and Jess and I have been talking about watching it for a long time now. Babylon, very good, but much more flawed than Whiplash.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm very very excited to see what Damien Chazelle has up his sleeve next for us.
I didn't actually know that he also did La La Land.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny, because I've never seen La La Land. I kind of know what it's about. It seems like those movies are at cross purposes, but I could be fucking wrong.
Yeah, you could be. I have no idea, so I haven't seen it myself. But yeah, no, it's my number 14.
Tune in
Whiplash.
next week when Blake and I talk about movies we haven't seen. But nice.
Yeah.
Well, my next movie is my number 14. Is a movie that isn't Whiplash, but might be arguably somehow more intense. This is one of only 3 movies that has genuinely scared the pants off me. And that is Ari Aster's Hereditary.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's really high!
It is really high. I think this movie's a masterpiece.
Cool.
I know we've kind of... In some ways, I shouldn't say this, but in some ways I feel like Ari Aster is a director who's kind of gotten worse with experience.
Maybe just less reined in.
Yeah, and I feel like this... I want to say that this is a movie you showed to me shortly before I moved back to the city we're currently living in. And like I was crashing on your couch that weekend. I turned a light on after watching this movie. Like I had to sleep with the light on. I was so upset.
Yeah.
It's genuinely one of the most emotionally devastating movies I've ever seen. Like it's truly incredible. Like I have nothing bad to say about it.
It has kind of one of the darkest moments I've ever seen in a movie that I didn't expect, where, and I almost don't even want to spoil it at all, but, and if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I mean.
It's the, let's call it the act break from Act 1 to Act 2.
Absolutely.
I remember when that happened just being like, wow.
The plot point and the character in the car and everything kind of immediately following that scene and what happens.
I think one of my favorite factoids about this movie is that your grandma, one of her friends,
yeah.
They went to see it because they thought it was like a
nice family drama.
Yeah, and well, they were right about the drama part, but I guess the family part too. But yeah, no, I love this movie. I think it's Ari Aster's best. Maybe if somebody could just rein him in a little, he could make another Hereditary style movie. But...
Is this your favorite horror movie?
Oh yeah, it's definitely my favorite horror movie.
Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch this movie. Have you rewatched it since we watched it for the first time?
Actually, I've been kind of too scared to rewatch it, to be honest.
I kind of think that it might go up on my list rewatching it and kind of maybe picking out some of the things I missed on that first watch.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of those movies that actually has a lot going on in the background that is very, very subtle. That, you know, once you kind of fully understand what's going on, I think it would be really fun to go back and see all of kind of those little bits of foreshadowing and maybe characters in the background that you might not have noticed on that first viewing.
Yeah. So no, genuinely love this movie. There was no Peanuts monster in the attic, but what can you do?
Spoilers.
Yeah, whatever.
My number 13 is also a horror movie. It's my favorite Stanley Kubrick movie. I think it's completely perfect. It's so funny, too, because the novel that it's based on, the author famously hates this movie. However, I think while his reasons for hating this movie are, in my opinion, valid, it doesn't invalidate how incredible this movie is, and that's The Shining by Stanley Kubrick.
The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah.
Yes.
As someone who's seen the movie and read the book, I can definitively say that the movie is better.
And this is the thing, and we'll someday do an episode on this because it's kind of surprising that we haven't done The Shining yet on our podcast.
Yeah.
But what I'll say about it is, you know, in the novel, you really feel for Jack's character more as like this alcoholic who's trying to like pull it together and just like loses the battle to alcoholism. And you can really understand like why Stephen King would be upset about maybe some of Jack's struggles kind of going
like his kind of author self-insert character being diminished like that.
Yeah, exactly. And yet this is one of the most perverse, horrifying films I've ever seen in my life. It's kind of one of those movies that feels like we shouldn't be allowed to watch it. Like it should be banned borderline. It's that scary.
Well, yeah.
I remember seeing this a few years ago at our local indie movie theater. Our friend Mike and I went and watched it. And
not me, a different Mike.
Yeah. And, you know, there was 300 people in the auditorium plus, and everyone was having a great time. It was really fun and exciting. And it's kind of one of those movies that you just don't feel the time. Like I felt like I was out of time watching this movie, and you could kind of start to feel when that third act starts to come around, and you're like, oh, this is maybe starting to reach the end point. And once you kind of get into the late of the second act, like everyone was silent. Like you could hear a pin drop in that movie theater because everyone was so scared.
Yeah.
It is just one of those movies that will stay in our cultural memory for the next 500 years probably because it's just that well made.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. Didn't quite make my top 100, but it is genuinely a masterpiece.
When was the last time you watched it?
It's probably been like 10 years.
Yeah,
probably.
That's also maybe why it's not on the top 100 as well.
Yeah, I mean, You know, what I find really interesting about The Shining is that, like, when it came out, everyone fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like, it got Razzie Awards and everything. And then 5 years later, everyone was just like, ah, just kidding. We love it. So, you know, to all those creatives out there, you know, if you make something and everyone fucking hates it, maybe it's all just an elaborate practical joke at your expense.
But also, you're probably not Stanley Kubrick.
But no, you're definitely not Stanley Kubrick. I can definitively say you're not Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, it's my favorite of his, and you know, I've talked about him 4 times now on this episode, on this podcast in our top 100, and yeah, I actually haven't even watched all of his movies yet. I think I have 2 left, but I think there's an argument to be made that every single one of his 10 feature films or so are all masterpieces. So,
okay,
yeah, number
tight.
13, The Shining.
Tight.
What a great spot to have number 13.
Yeah,
The
that's
Shining
perfect.
That
That
is
is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just to lighten the mood a little bit, my number 13 is a movie that I remember seeing it as a kid and being like, oh, that's kind of cool. But, like, I kept coming back to this movie, like, every 5 years and being like, fuck, that's really, really good. And that is DreamWorks' The Prince of Egypt.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember-
what a curveball.
What a curveball after Hereditary. But yeah, no, it's basically just the story of Moses, but in animated form. It's it's one of those movies that I'm faintly embarrassed to have on my list, especially so high. But I genuinely think this movie is a masterpiece. What really draws me to this movie is kind of the central conflict is.
It's a classic, right? Like, this is one of humanity's oldest stories.
Yeah, and what really draws me into this movie is they touch on an angle that was kind of ignored in the 10 Commandments, I think, and it's something that you don't hear a lot of. But, like, I mean, you know the story of Moses, right?
Everybody does.
Yeah, the OG Superman, little baby, thrown in a basket, sent down the river, raised by the royal family. So this movie does something really interesting where it highlights the relationship between Moses and his adoptive brother Ramesses.
Right.
And how they find themselves in conflict with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And something about that image of, like, 2 adoptive brothers who love each other but are then forced into conflict either through, like, legacy or, like, literally the divine will of God is really, really heartbreaking and compelling to me.
Yeah.
There's a scene later in the movie where Moses goes to comfort Ramesses after the death of the firstborn son.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how it's even just told just through animation and, like, the characters and their body language where Moses feels guilty, but he still desperately wants to comfort his brother. But, like, Ramesses is just so drowned in grief. Like, it's a scene I've watched, like, dozens of times over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love this movie. I love the soundtrack. Val Kilmer as Moses, funnily enough. Ralph Fiennes as Ramesses. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
Cool. Yeah, I was not expecting that to be on your top 100 list.
I don't think anybody was expecting it on my top 100 list.
Is that your highest animated film?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Maybe it's not. It's not, actually. It's not.
Spoilers. I think I know what your top one is then.
Okay.
My number 12 is a movie that we've covered on this podcast. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. It is my favorite Christmas movie of all time, and that's Die Hard.
Fuck yeah, brud.
Yeah, that's a crossover that you and I had. I watch Die Hard almost every single year. It doesn't feel like Christmas until Alan Rickman's character has fallen off Nakatomi Plaza.
Yes, send him to his death.
Yeah, it is just like one of those movies that is just so immaculate, and it's one of those movies that it could have been a complete disaster. They kind of just worked with what they had, you know. Bruce Willis was extremely busy at this time, and I think it's better for them having to work around the problems that they faced during filming this. And yeah, I mean, we talked about all of that on the episode that we talked about with Die Hard. It's just one of those movies that, you know, I think is genuinely perfect, and I think that everyone could have a fun time with this one.
Yeah, it is kind of remarkable how they had so many obstacles working against them, but it turned out to be so much better for it.
Yeah, that's
know?
exactly it, right? Like, you know, this could have been one-dimensional villains, and because the villains had to kind of stand in for Bruce Willis and the available time that he had to make this movie, all of them kind of pop in their own unique way, right? Like they're villains that you kind of love to all hate, and especially Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah, I mean, arguably Alan Rickman's best performance. Don't at me, Potterheads. I never fucking saw those movies, but yeah. No, yeah, this is a movie that like I kind of forgot about until we did it on the podcast a couple of years ago. Now it's part of my yearly tradition where every December I watch Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that it should be more people's tradition because it is a Christmas movie.
It is. We kind of finally buried that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, funnily enough, my number 12 is also a Christmas movie.
Oh!
And it's another movie that I watch every year on Christmas. This is actually a Netflix movie that came out, I think 6 years ago now, like right before the pandemic, 2019. Is
it a Lindsay Lohan Hallmark,
like a
Netflix
Hallmark movie?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, no, but maybe I have one of those higher up on my list. But no, it's a movie that some relatives just passively threw on one day when I just happened to be visiting, and I was like, wow, like that was fucking good. And now every year, me and my family, we watch it.
Wow.
It's my favorite Christmas movie. I like it even more than Die Hard, and that is Klaus.
Klaus.
Yeah, with a K.
You're going to have to fill me in on Klaus.
So Klaus, it's an animated movie.
I think I know what movie you're talking about.
It's basically about this real shithead who actually voiced...
Named Saint Nick?
No, it's actually... it's about a real shithead named...
Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, it's what's his butt? I'm gonna cut all this out. It's about a real shithead named Jesper, voiced by Jason Schwartzman. Funnily enough, that's why like when we were watching Rushmore together, I'm like, wait, I fucking know this guy. And he's just a spoiled little rich brat who's like squandered all the opportunities his father's given him because he's just wants to be like, he's basically Bruce Wayne if he wasn't Batman, right? So then he's shipped off to this remote village called Smearensburg, and he's tasked with, establishing a post office there. Basically, it's all this ploy from his father to like force him to grow up, right? And when there, he meets, through a series of unfortunate accidents, a weird white-bearded recluse voiced by J.K. Simmons, who may or may not grow up to be Santa Claus. And it's kind of like a weird little origin story about Jesper finally growing up and coming into his own and trying to like improve this community, first for selfish reasons, then later for more selfless reasons. I feel like I'm very much like on the dark side where like I want movies that'll fucking devastate me. This is probably the most feel-good movie on my list where I'm like, that was really good. Like, it really cheered me up. So yeah, love this movie. Can't wait to watch it on Christmas in a couple months. I'd highly recommend it.
Cool. I'm really excited to check this one out for the first time because I've never seen this movie. But I think it's one that I probably would enjoy.
It's definitely one you would. It's funny. This came out in 2019, and it ended up losing the Oscar for Best Animated Feature to Toy Story 4. And I think there was some controversy of it where people are like, fuck off. Like, why does Pixar always get the Oscar? Give it to this movie. It's better.
That's awesome. My number 11. I can't believe we're almost at the halfway point of this. My number 11 is my favorite PTA movie. It's one of the films that I remember being on in my house all the time growing up, even though I wasn't allowed to watch it. So I was sent to the basement. And honestly, for good reason.
You and I were sent to the basement a lot as kids.
Yeah, and honestly, that's fair because it's about a porn star named Dirk Diggler, and it's Boogie Nights.
Fuck me. I still haven't seen Boogie Nights.
This is a movie that Jess and I actually rewatched a few months ago in preparation for this because I remember it being an important movie even though I couldn't watch it at my place. And it was always on TV. And I definitely had caught bits and pieces of it over the years. And yeah, I mean, it holds up incredibly well. It's a film that Jess and I watched, and she was just as like sucked into it as I was. And this is like almost a 3-hour film, and it does not feel like it at all. It feels like an hour and a half long. It's just, it moves with such a pace. It's a really cool movie too because it's about the porn industry in the 70s, but it's really actually about Hollywood in the 70s and like also like has this undercurrent of about capitalism, but really to me it feels like a movie just about cinema in general, and how like, you know, in the 70s the directors had these visions and how they were allowed to like take their vision and run with it. And then, you know, you had all these actors who were like so honed in on their craft and like wanting to just like push themselves to their limits. And eventually, as you know, the machine, the corporate machine got bigger and bigger and bigger, everybody kind of started to lose that magic and like even like lose themselves to drugs, and kind of like that shift into the 80s and how it impacted cinema and it impacted our culture.
Yeah.
It's such a cool movie because it just feels like so important to understanding that era of film.
Okay.
And America in general.
Huh. Interesting.
And I mean, this movie is just like an absolute star-studded cast. Let me just give you like, off the top of my head, let me tell you who's in this movie. Mark Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Julianne Moore, Heather Graham, John C. Reilly, Don Cheadle, William H. Macy. Oh God, I'm running out of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and probably another 20 or so actors that are extremely important to my film.
Okay, I'm curious because I really, really liked There Will Be Blood. And
you
The
and
Master.
I need to watch this movie at some point because I genuinely think that you'll love this one as much as I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. Like, this is really timely too because One Battle After Another is coming out this week. And
it's supposed to be really fucking good.
It's supposed to be amazing. So I am very hyped because, again, I recently rewatched Boogie Nights and just blew my mind so much that it's number 11.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
My number 11 is a movie that we've already done an episode on, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. Mm-hmm. It's, you know what, I'm going to renege on what I said about Klaus. This is the other feel-good movie on my list.
Oh.
And the next movie on my list is a real fucking bummer. So like, I'm about to balance everything out. This is Groundhog Day.
Oh, I was wondering when we'd see Groundhog Day on your list.
Yeah, it's a movie that I first saw over the pandemic in 2020, and I've watched it a couple times since. It's easily one of my favorite movies. Probably my favorite comedy, even though I still think, you know, The Big Lebowski is funnier. Mm-hmm. But no, it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, I remember we were up at the cottage with some friends, and I ended up staying up and watching this one with one of my friends after everyone else went to bed, and we were just both like so into it. Like, it was so good. It's a classic for a reason.
It's arguably Bill Murray's best performance, even though he is like a really, really, really talented performer and apparently a really, really bad guy too. But hey, yeah, I love this movie a lot.
Okay, we are rounding the corner of our top 20 of our top 100, and it's number 10 time. I'm starting with my number 10. This is my favorite movie of the 2020s. It is one of the biggest films I've ever seen in my entire life. It's also my favorite foreign film of all time, and that is RRR.
Fuck, I was waiting for RRR to show up. Yeah, all right. Good choice.
Yeah. You know, this is a love letter to Western cinema, in my opinion. It's just one of those movies that is able to just be bigger than even like Indian cinema. It just is so universally incredible. The only negative thing I have to say about RRR is that because Netflix owns the rights to it, I can't just buy a copy of this movie because I just desperately want a copy of this movie to be like, watch RRR for me.
Wait, you can't just get it like a physical copy
I cannot get a physical copy of RRR.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, so I've been trying to get people to watch this movie, and I just want to have a copy to forcefully just hand people to be like, you need to see this one. Because, yeah, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's during the, I believe, 1920s in India under the British Raj, and it's about these two characters who become, and it's based on a true story, like very loosely, but it's two of the most important Indian revolutionists in the 1920s. It's a movie that, you know, it's not so subtle about the British controlling India. It feels like it's directly in conversation with the Western world and like our films and how we depict Nazis. Funny enough, Elsa from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is actually the head British soldier's wife in this movie.
Yeah, apparently she's been typecast as a Nazi. So, hey, yeah, I buy it. It's good casting.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, like I said, it's one of the biggest, boldest movies I've ever seen. I would love to see this in theaters because I think as a film, like, I don't know that there's another movie just as energetic and exciting as this one, and watching it on the big screen with a bunch of people would be a lot of fun.
Okay, yeah. This is a movie that you'd been pestering me to see for a long time, and I finally caved one night.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that was pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I really liked this movie. Somehow didn't crack my top 100, but I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I could see myself watching a number of times over the next 10 years because it just, like I said, it just makes me so energized. It makes me so excited about movies. I just absolutely love it. It's just, this is one of those movies where it's like, you know, Hollywood's kind of lost something, I think, over the years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This has just kind of recaptured that magic.
It is kind of like, oh yeah, films can be fun.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
this movie has like one of the best dance numbers I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I'm kind of like, why wouldn't I want a dance number in this fucking movie, right? Like it's
You
so
kind of just
good.
never want it to end. Like,
yeah.
with all of the other action and crazy set pieces and, you know, one of the greatest friendships ever told. And yet during this movie, there's a very exciting dance number, and you're kind of just like, you know what? The next hour and a half could just be this dance number, and I would be just as happy.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
My number 10, RRR.
RRR, good choice. My number 10 is a movie that I actually heard about through Red Letter Media, and then I decided to pick it up one day. I forced my mom and my girlfriend at the time to watch it with me, and I still remember them recoiling from horror on the screens and like covering their eyes, and I was just sitting there eating popcorn like, oh cool, this is nice. And that is S. Craig Zoller's Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that high.
That fucking
That
high.
is wild.
Have
to
you
me.
seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet.
It's truly incredible. It's basically all you need to know is it's Kurt Russell and Patrick Wilson trying to rescue a kidnapped woman from these like murderous race of people living out in the mountains.
Right.
And it's truly like, I almost kind of feel like, you remember how I kind of had a rant a couple weeks ago about how like I think Tarantino is slightly overrated?
Yep.
This
and
is
I
kind
think
of,
you're wrong, but
yeah,
go on.
fair enough. But like, I feel like this is kind of a quintessential Tarantino movie just directed by somebody else. It's got some of the best dialogue I've ever seen. It's mostly just conversation, despite everything that's going on. Some of like the wittiest dialogue I've ever encountered. I particularly like how this movie deals with violence in that like it's so fast and so brutal that like you and the characters are on screen are like still reeling and trying to determine what just happened after you've been struck. Like,
Right.
it also has one of the most truly graphic, violent scenes I've ever seen in a movie. So naturally, I really liked it. So no, Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, Jason also loves this movie. This is one that is one of my biggest holes because I know you two both really love this one. I have to kind of put some distance to it because sometimes I get overhyped about a movie and then I watch it and it doesn't maybe quite match the energy or excitement that everyone else has for it.
Yeah, that's
and then
fair.
I'm overly down on it. So
Yeah, I feel like I've had that too with like certain movies, like Barbarian, for instance, where everyone was raving about it, and then I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it was okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's my number 10,
Cool
Bone
movie.
Tomahawk.
Cool. My number 9 is the movie that moved up the highest on my list after rewatching it. We rewatched it actually very recently. I'm not going to do too much preamble because I just want to get into it.
Because it's The Thing?
No, because it is The Dark Knight.
Oh, hey!
My favorite superhero movie of all time. Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite Chris Nolan movie. It's my favorite Batman movie. It's my favorite superhero movie. And it has one of the all-time best performances from Heath Ledger as the Joker.
It's kind of crazy that Iron Man and The Dark Knight both came out the same summer.
Yeah.
And they both kind of changed superhero movies in a really big way.
Yeah, and cinema in a big way.
Mhm.
Like, and maybe The Dark Knight, the DC universe learned the wrong lessons from The Dark Knight, and that's unfortunate for them over the past 15, 20 years.
I have to say, like, as a DC fanboy, it has been simultaneously heartbreaking and hilarious watching the DCEU just completely shit itself over and over and over again for 10 years. But they seem to be in better hands now. So
yeah, I mean,
now that it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. So as someone who was born in the 90s, like, this one just came out at such a pivotal point in our lives. Like, at one point I would have probably told you that this is one of my favorite movies of all
like,
time.
I mean, we were like, what, 16 when this movie came out?
Yeah. And it's kind of undeniable even now. Like, it's just so flawless. It moves with such a pace. Honestly, it maybe ever so slightly be too long, and yet I don't care, because it's just one of those movies that is just pure magic. I can't believe that Heath Ledger was able to just capture this kind of insanity as the Joker, and nobody else has come close for me as the Joker, or really honestly as a villain. Like, I don't really have any other movies, even in my top 20 list here, where I would say that there's a better villain in a film.
No, I would agree, right? He's kind of in a league of his own, you know? So, I mean, he's not my personal favorite Joker. That still goes to Mark Hamill, but yeah, this movie is undeniable.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just such an important movie to my film trajectory, my film life, that I would have been lying to myself if I didn't put it this high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good choice. Cool. My number 9 is a movie that I saw when I was a teenager and loved. And it sparked this whole franchise that kind of wobbles around and varies in quality a little bit. And it's a movie we did last summer for the podcast, and that is Sylvester Stallone's Rocky.
Ah, wow, that's really high.
It is really high. But you know what? Like, this is a movie where I feel like I've always loved Rocky, but I feel like I kind of had too much distance between myself and the original. Mm-hmm. Just because, you know, I think I mentioned I saw Rocky IV so compulsively as a teenage boy, because I mean, let's be honest, it's a movie for teenage boys. But coming back to the original after all these years, I was like, oh yeah, like, this is a great fucking movie, right? Yeah. This is, and I mean, it's even more special when you think about what went into it and how Sly put everything on the line to make this fucking movie.
Yep.
And he's gone on to be such a interesting movie star over the years. Like, truly incredible. Like, even at like 31, 32, whenever we rewatched it last summer, like, when Rocky first knocks Apollo down, I was like shot up in bed, like, oh my God. Like,
yeah,
he did it, right? Like, even more so than a sports movie. And I know Sylvester Stallone himself has maintained that it's not a sports movie, it's a love story. Mm-hmm. It's still like all that stuff aside, it's still one of the best character dramas I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. It's truly a one-of-a-kind special movie. Like, you know, if I had a time machine, I would probably just go back to the 70s and see this in theaters.
Yeah, that would have been a very cool experience. Like, I think I said this probably when I did it on my top 100, a little bit lower down the list, that one of my favorite last 5 minutes of movie ever. It's so emotionally moving.
Yeah. Da, 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 na, 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 na. Like, yeah, so thank you, Sylvester Stallone, for betting it all on this fucking movie.
Yeah. I'm sure he would thank you for how much love it's gotten to over the years.
I should hope so. But yeah.
Cool. My number 8 is one of my favorite crime films of all time. It's arguably the best crime movie ever made. It's my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, and that's Goodfellas.
I was fucking waiting for Goodfellas to show up.
Yeah, I debatably might have this even too low. That's how much I love Goodfellas. This might even be higher. It's funny, the last time I watched Goodfellas was at a hotel in the last 6 months. And I actually caught it in the last hour of the movie.
Oh, shit.
And we were just flipping through, and I was like, oh, Goodfellas. And I was like, oh, where are we right now? And I was like, oh, we're right here. And, you know, the last hour of this movie, I just was able to, pull myself into this movie and just fall in love with it all over again, even just watching the last hour of this like 2.5 3 hour epic. This has one of the coolest openings of a movie ever, one of the most quotable films. For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. It's, a movie about men in their 20s and getting up to shenanigans.
I don't think we quite got up to this level of shenanigans. I should hope not, anyway.
No, absolutely not. But, I think that this is just one of those all-time bangers that I would recommend to literally every single person, because it is maybe not the best movie ever made, but it's certainly one of the most rewatchable. It also has one of the coolest transitions I've ever seen, where, this is a movie that has very heavy narration, and there's a point in time when the narrator, Ray Liotta's character, Henry Hill, is actually replaced by his wife narrating. And it's a really cool pivotal moment that I've never seen another movie do, and that, it just kind of worked. And I cannot recommend this movie enough. Like, it is so, so, so important to me that I watch this movie literally all the time. It's so rewatchable.
Well, who's the what's his name? Who's the short guy?
Joe Pesci.
I think Joe Pesci arguably steals this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I reference this movie literally. I said the other day to somebody that I'm a made man now, and I meant it. And
did they know what you meant?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So yeah, it's really, really special to me.
Okay, nice. I'm not even really a huge Scorsese guy, but even I was like, I watched it a couple years ago for the first time. I was like, that was really fucking good.
Yeah.
I can't find fault with that movie.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it would make your top 100 or not, but if it was, I was going to expect it like in the bottom part of the 100.
Maybe it's my number one. You don't know. It's not.
Yeah,
sorry.
But yeah, no, there's nothing quite like Goodfellas.
Okay, nice. So my number 8 is a movie that we've talked about a lot, but never done a full episode on.
Huh.
It's a movie that was written by one of my heroes, William Goldman, and that is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
We did a full episode on it.
Oh, that's right. You and Jason did a full episode on it. Yeah, but I wasn't here, so it doesn't fucking count. But
yeah, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is so good.
So fucking at one point William Goldman said that like when he died, on his obituary it would say like, writer of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Princess Bride, William Goldman died. And I'm pretty sure that's what his obituary actually said.
Right.
So he was right.
I mean, timely as well with Robert Redford passing away.
Yeah, R.I.P. That was very sad. No, it's the first buddy cop movie, arguably the best one. It's got some of the like snappiest, funniest dialogue I've ever seen.
Yep. It's one of like the best and probably one of the earliest like buddy movies as well.
Yeah. It's also got like, it's kind of interesting how it's all about sort of, and you've seen a lot of kind of like postmodern Westerns talk about this, like it's sort of like the dying days of the Wild West and how these men are kind of struggling to cope with this new world that they just don't understand, and they ultimately just really fail to adapt. Mm-hmm. So no, it's a great movie. It's got one of my favorite like lines / moments in a movie too, when they're trying to get jobs as like, I don't know, like bodyguards or something, and the guy wants a Robert Redford Sundance to shoot something, so he unholsters his gun, shoots it, misses. And he's like, hey, can I move? And he's like, what? He's like, can I move? So he does it again just by like bending forward and shooting. And then he's like, I'm a lot better when I can move. And I think about that all the time, just in terms of like momentum and how momentum is your friend. Like I hear that in my head like almost every day. Like, I'm a lot better when I move. So yeah, great movie. Loved it. Yeah. Can't say enough good about it.
You know what's wild is it took me far longer than I would care to admit to put together that the whole Sundance Festival, which was created by Robert Redford, was a obviously a nod to his character as the Sundance Kid.
Well, guess what, Blake? I'm just putting that together now. So I guess
I thought I might get you.
Yeah, I think you're in good. I didn't actually know he was one of the guys putting that together.
He was the guy who created the Sundance Festival.
Well, I guess you're in good company then.
Yeah,
Fuck.
super cool. Yeah, Robert Redford and oh god, why can't I think of his name? Paul Newman.
Oh, they did it together, huh?
No, not together, but Paul Newman is extremely important to movie history. We need to watch more Paul Newman movies.
Yeah,
honestly.
no, I know. Like, he's arguably the best actor in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like what are you, crazy?
Well, Robert Redford is also really good.
Yeah. What are you, crazy? The fall will kill you.
Yeah, that's a movie that I rewatch regularly as well. So
yeah, great,
very,
fucking
very
movie.
good movie. Great choice. I love that it's this high on your list.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is a film that actually represents the entire trilogy. It's the best, hands down, objectively the best fantasy has ever been on the silver screen, and that's The Lord of the Rings, and I am choosing to represent the trilogy with The Two Towers.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
if you had just said you're putting all of them together as your number 7, I would have accepted that.
Yeah, I mean, and that the Two Towers represents all three of them. In my opinion, they're more or less all equally great. I think that The Two Towers, for me, it just kind of is this perfect crossroads between the opening and the end of this epic story, and it somehow is able to kind of, be riveting without either opening a story or ending it. And I think that's something that is extraordinarily difficult to do. I often think that, like, especially in movie trilogies, the second movie in the series is often, in my opinion, the worst because it feels the most rushed. And it's also, again, like I said, kind of trying to navigate where the first left off and also build towards a satisfying third entry in a film series. So, yeah, I mean, we haven't done The Lord of the Rings quite yet because it's I think maybe a year away from being aged into acceptable for us to do on the podcast, but it is a series that we will absolutely cover within the next 5 years.
I think we should do a fucking designated. I mean, it's old enough at this fucking point.
They're like the early 2000s, right? So,
and you know what? I've actually only seen these movies once, like 20 years ago.
And that's insane to me because
it is insane.
These are borderline annual watches for me.
Yeah, so I think we should definitely do it for the podcast.
Yeah, I very much
Break me
agree.
back in.
Yeah, and again, I think that, despite the Tolkien family maybe not loving these movies,
Is that true? Did they not love them?
Yeah, it was a little controversial, I think, for them, because maybe they didn't quite honor the books to the letter, but I think...
Well, you've read the books, and you...
Yep.
I remember you telling me that it's pretty much... it's as good a one-to-one comparison as you're gonna fucking get.
Well, and I think that, Peter Jackson, and this is always like a nod to people who are, the best in their craft, who are the best at adaptations, is it's really important to understand what's going to work cinematically versus what's going to work in a novel form.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
you know what? Like, when my books start getting published, if they have to make... If I'm lucky enough to get a film adaptation, I'll be like, just do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking care.
Well, and it's a really hard line to walk, too, because even, like, as a fan, you have expectations going into something, and, The Lord of the Rings is, in my opinion, and this might be even controversial, I think it's even elevated beyond the novel series, which can be dense and somewhat hard to read at times, in my opinion, but... the original trilogy, and not even the extended cuts. I just like them as their rawest, like, as Peter Jackson intended form. The extended editions, I kind of get why the scenes in those extended editions were cut. I think that they add something if you've watched those movies as much as I have. But
so when we do it for the podcast, are you saying you don't want to do the extended editions?
I don't think we should do the extended editions because I think cinematically they work best as the theatrical.
That's fair. I mean, even now, I think there's a growing backlash against 3-hour movies. It's kind of like, hey, come on, like, stop it.
Yeah.
I got places to be.
Yeah. So like I said, I view all three of these movies as equals. And so rather than have 3 Lord of the Rings movies clog up my top 10, I decided to consolidate them into one.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Tight. So my number 7 is It's The Godfather.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I was going to say something clever, and then I just went, fuck it, It's The Godfather.
Uh-huh.
So this is a movie that I love. I saw it in film school for the first time, loved it. Then I kind of forgot about it over the next 10, 11, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, we did it for like our VCR Oscars series.
Yep.
And I remember watching it again after like 10, 11, 12 years of distance. I was like, well, that's even fucking better than I remember it being. Like, I love everything about this movie. I love that it's almost kind of like watching it again as an older person. I was like, it's almost kind of Shakespearean in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
It's timeless.
It's timeless, right? It's a story about succession and power.
Yeah.
That's all it's in greed and America and capitalism, right? Like so many iconic scenes, so many iconic performances. I still think that I can't decide who I like more, whether it's James Caan as Sonny or Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen, but like truly everything about this movie is spectacular.
Yeah.
And I was blown away how you were telling me all this behind the scenes shit. And I'm like, what do you mean nobody wanted to make this movie? What do you mean nobody liked making this movie? How did they not know it was a fucking masterpiece?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. No, I mean, Francis Ford Coppola at the height of his powers in the 70s, churning out this and Apocalypse Now and The Conversation and everything else that he did.
I guess The Godfather Part 2, if you consider that a masterpiece as well, which I don't. But yeah, no, I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. And I mean, come on, Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone. Like, it's kind of funny how it's so ingratiated in pop culture that, like, you know, even the expression, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. It's like, that's even just like, you know, you've made it as an artist when even just random fucking lines of dialogue have like entered like, just the cultural lexicon.
Yeah, and people might not even know where that's from necessarily.
Yeah, like it's actually transcended beyond the work itself.
Yeah.
So
cool.
You know, we used to call my grandfather the Godfather just because, you know, he was a cool older guy who took care of everyone. So we're like, he's the Godfather. Don't even worry about it. So.
It's also because he was the Godfather in Windsor.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of dead bodies on our property. One time he was like, hey, Michael, I need you to take this box over to this guy's house, but make sure no one sees you. And I was like, Grandpa, why is it ticking?
What's in the box, Grandpa?
But then I opened it and there were just sandwiches inside and we ate them. So
nice.
Anyways, yeah, great movie.
My number 6 is The Godfather.
Hey! That's pretty funny.
Yeah, this is our other movie that is just like, you know, an immediate crossover with each other. This and John Wick 4, so take what you will from that.
Our one-to-one comparisons, yeah.
Yeah, so I love this movie just as much as you do, clearly. This is a movie that I return to almost annually. Actually, right behind your head, I have my Godfather Blu-ray edition.
It is right behind my head.
Yeah.
My big, bald head.
Yeah, and so in my opinion, this represents both The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. I've never seen The Godfather Part 3.
And hopefully we never will.
And yeah, you know what? At some point, I will check it out just for curiosity's sake, but I don't feel an immediate urge to go see it because The Godfather Part 1 and The Godfather Part 2 are just such great storytelling. I think that, you know, we talked about this on The Godfather Part 2 watch, that without The Godfather Part 2 actually loses some of its substance. And
you were the one who was saying you kind of have to watch them like neck and neck with each other.
You just have to watch both of them neck and neck, and that's sometimes tough too because these are like 3-hour movies. But you know, like The Lord of the Rings, you could always cut these in half and watch them in 2 parts over a few nights. And yeah, we've done episodes on both of those films before, so I feel like I don't need to talk too long about these movies. But yeah, they're just pure magic. There's a reason why they are constantly popping up on top 10 lists and other lists around the internet. I think this is maybe one of the only movies that is in the top 10 of both IMDb and Letterboxd. Actually, it's
and us.
Yeah. So yeah, this is just pure magic. Like it literally changed movies forever. Like there is pre-Godfather and there is post-Godfather, and all of cinema revolves around that point in history.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
The Godfather, number 7 for you, number 6 for me.
You want to know what my number 6 is?
What?
Silence of the Lambs.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That high.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love this movie.
Yeah, it's great. I was lying earlier. I love this movie quite a bit. You know, one of the great pleasant surprises of my life where I'm like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like the only real, you know, if I had to be an asshole, I think we talked about this in our episode. There's like maybe 5 minutes in the third act where we're like,
right.
Wait, how did we get here? But I mean, who fucking cares, right? So, yeah, love this movie. Love Hannibal Lecter. I'm going to go ahead and say I think Jodie Foster's character is probably my favorite female character in all of cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Like Clarice Starling.
Yes.
So, you know what? I tried reading the book too. I couldn't really get into it, but I'm still kind of like, wow, this was fucking good.
I've read Red Dragon, and I've not read Silence of the Lambs.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it's a true masterpiece.
Absolutely.
I would never neglect it from my top 10.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad to see it on your list. My number 5 is my favorite movie of the 2010s. It's my single favorite theater going experience because I saw this on opening night. I saw it in the best possible audio room that I could find it in, and that is Mad Max
Fury Road. Yeah, I was, as soon as you said best theater experience, I'm like, it's fucking Fury Road, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Fury Road.
Nice.
You know, like this is, I think, the only movie on my entire top 100 list where I put 2 movies from a franchise onto the list. And it's just because both of them, while somehow both being directed by George Miller, are both unique and special in their own right. And Mad Max Fury Road is just one of the most fast-paced, insane movies. I can't believe this was filmed. I can't believe this worked. I can't believe nobody died.
Nobody did die.
Yeah. It's just like a masterclass in practical effects. It's just cinematically like... This is a purely cinematic experience. It is in my opinion, one of the best uses of film to tell a story ever. I think that you need to see this on the biggest screen you can. I think you need to see this on the loudest possible audio system that you can to really, truly enjoy the experience. This is probably the first movie that I will put into my home theater when I build my epic home theater someday.
Yeah, we're all waiting.
Yeah.
We're all waiting, Blake. We got to get a Patreon so we can fund that.
Yeah, so this is just pure unadulterated magic, and done so with almost with a heavy push towards visual storytelling rather than dialogue storytelling.
Yeah, I think that's kind of something that rubbed me off this movie at first. I was like, what's going on? Blah. But then coming back to it as a more mature person, I was like, oh, that was fucking great.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 5 for me, Mad Max Fury Road. And like I said, my top 5 are genuinely all my 5 favorite movies. They would all essentially be number 1. They're all interchangeable, and I love each one for the sake of what it does.
Okay, nice. My number 5 is a movie that we have actually done a podcast on, and it's my final animated movie, and also my final Batman movie, and that is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Woo!
Yeah, still the best Batman movie of all time. We did an episode on it last September. I think it's genuinely the best episode we've ever done on anything.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, that's my fucking hot take. But yeah, no, I've never seen a Batman story that covered heartbreak, and I think that topic fits this character like a hand fits a glove.
Yeah.
So I rewatched it recently with my partner, and I was still like, yeah, I love this movie just as much.
Yeah, it's great.
I rewatched it a couple months ago just because I wanted to see if it was still my number 5, and I'm like, yeah, it's still my number 5.
Cool.
It's firmly in my top 5.
Yeah, and you should go back and listen to our podcast episode about it.
Right, because it's our best one. It's all been downhill since then.
My number 4 is a movie that we've covered on this podcast before. Actually, believe it or not, 3 of the 5 movies that we have here, and my top 5 have been covered on this podcast.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it.
4 in my top 5 have all had episodes on them. So
Yeah. So clearly, you and I like what we like, and this one also appearing in your top 20, although dropping a lot, and for reasons unknown, The Big Lebowski.
Oh shit, that's your number 4.
My number 4 is The Big Lebowski.
I knew you liked this movie. I never thought you were as high on it as I was.
This is probably my most watched film in my top 20 list here. I watch it every single year. Basically, my rule is if I'm flipping through movies and this shows up on whatever streaming service that I'm flipping through, I watch it.
Okay, I like that rule, Blake.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies that I can watch when I'm happy, I can watch when I'm sad, I can watch when I'm angry, and at the end, I just feel incredibly fulfilled.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
And like I said, we've done a whole podcast episode on it, and we've talked about why we both love it so much. It's my favorite Coen Brothers movie. It's also Coen Brothers number 4 on this. And so the Coen Brothers and Stanley Kubrick are, I believe, the only 2 directors to hit 4 movies on my top 100 list.
They're the only 2 repeat offenders on your list.
Yeah. Well, no.
4-time offenders.
4-time offender directors. So, yeah, my Mount Rushmore almost completing itself with Stanley Kubrick and the Coen Brothers with The Big Lebowski at number 4.
Okay. Nice, man. Good choice. My number 4 is a movie that I first watched over the pandemic, and I liked it more than I thought I would. And then last year, you were giving me a list of movies to choose from, and I was like, let's just do this one, actually. I think it's the only time I've ever been like, get all those fucking options out of my face. Let's do this instead. And you were like, okay, Jesus. And that is Ridley Scott's Gladiator.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow! Number 4!
It is my number 4.
Holy
Yeah.
Sheesh!
Yeah, I guess I like this movie more than you. So, no, I mean, what is there to say? It's Maximus, Gladius, Meridius, whatever.
You're just rhyming.
Yeah, I guess.
Making shit up as you go here.
What is it? What does he say to Joaquin Phoenix? He's like, husband to a murdered wife, father to a murdered son, and I will have my vengeance in this world or the next.
Yes.
It's, it's truly, this almost feels like a Bible movie. Just because it feels like biblical in scope, right? It's about Rome and like the changing the guards and like good versus evil. I mean, what can you fucking say about this movie? I do think this is Russell Crowe's best performance.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, no, nothing but good things to say about this movie.
Yeah, this is now officially, I believe, going to be the farthest apart 2 movies that we talked about, because I had this in...
It was in your 80s, right?
Yes, I think it cracked 90, maybe? Yes, it was 92.
Ah, that's right.
So that will be the one that has the furthest separation as your number 4 and my number 92. But nevertheless, a very, very, very good movie that, again, I think people just forget how much the first hour of this movie rocks, even before it gets into the Gladiator stuff.
It's a movie that's not dull. There's no dead zones. It never drags at any point.
Right.
It just goes.
Yeah. My number 3 is a movie that I'm kind of surprised and yet also somewhat interested to bring this one up on my list, because I'm almost wondering if it maybe is going to be in your top 3 as well. And it's a movie that's extraordinarily important to my cinematic world and my view of movies, and that is The Matrix.
Oh, shit. This high, huh?
This high.
Fuck, no, it's
The
not.
Matrix is just one of those movies that I saw way too young, and it blew my entire worldview. Nothing is quite ever kind of made it to the Matrix level in terms of action and philosophy and ideas. It's just one of those movies that is literal perfection from start to finish. I have no negative notes about this one. Unfortunately, the rest of the series maybe doesn't quite work as well as this.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies that changed the culture. It changed film for the entire early 2000s to now. Like, without The Matrix, our entire film history would be completely different.
I guess that's fair. It is kind of almost like our Star Wars trilogy, you know? Like our Star Wars original trilogy. You know what I mean?
And even like despite me saying that the second, third, and even fourth movie are nowhere near perfect, I watched this series maybe even more than I watched the Lord of the Rings series.
Okay.
And Jess has fallen asleep during the Matrix series more times than I can count, and yet I still put them on.
That's when you don't want to deal with her.
Yeah.
You know, surprisingly enough, I remember these movies being on all the time when I was a kid, but I didn't really have a great desire to rewatch them for this list.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember, like, maybe 12 years ago, watching The Matrix with you in your mom's basement, being like, yeah, it's pretty good. That's good.
I can't believe this one's not going to actually make this high on your list. I was fully expecting this to be a crossover for us.
Well, I'm sorry, dude. I hate to let you down. Well, maybe when we redo this list in 20 years, I'll be like, oh, fuck, it's The Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to rewatch this one. We should watch this one together at some point.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'd be down. My number 3 is also a Coen Brothers movie.
Whoa!
And it's the movie that kind of deposed The Big Lebowski in my own personal approximation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a movie we did an episode on last November or so, and that is Raising Arizona.
Whoa!
Yeah, Raising
3.
Arizona.
Wow!
I loved this movie.
Yeah.
It just shot right up my list.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, the feeling when you see a movie for the first time and you're all like immediately like, wow, that might be one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Is just something that almost can't be replicated.
Or My Name Ain't Nathan Arizona.
You know, I actually showed this to my family over the summer at the cottage, and my brother-in-law, who's maybe not necessarily like a huge movie guy, afterwards was like, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen, and I've never even heard of this movie. And he just kept saying that over and over again, and I was like, yeah, I get it,
So Christian would approve of my choice.
Absolutely, he would.
Nice. No, I mean, I love this movie. Some of the funniest dialogue I've ever seen. Like, her womb was a barren place, which my seed could find no purchase. One of the funniest chase scenes I've ever seen. Arguably Nicolas Cage's best performance.
Not even arguably.
Yeah, and like Helen Hunt is amazing and beautiful in her role. John Goodman, like, incredible fucking movie. I don't know that it did super well when it came out, but I love this movie a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, the Coen brothers are clearly very important to both you and I.
Yeah. They worked. They work for us.
Yeah. You should go and check this podcast or that podcast episode out because we had a lot of fun doing that last year. And we will certainly be doing more Coen Brothers movies on this podcast in the future.
As long as they keep making movies, we'll keep talking about them.
Yeah. Well, even their old stuff.
Yeah.
My number 2 is a movie that, again, defined an entire generation of moviegoers following it. It's one of the most important movies of the 90s. It's one of the most important movies of this filmmaker's entire career, and that is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
I had a feeling Pulp Fiction was going to crack your top 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction is, again, one of those movies where I pretty much just will put it on a whim at any point in time, and after watching it, will just kind of like slide back in my chair and go, yes, that was everything and more. Like it's just one of those movies that is so timelessly good. It has some of the best dialogue ever in a movie.
Yeah.
It has a million references to all these movies that, you know what, Pulp Fiction is one of those cool movies where, because Quentin Tarantino is such a movie nerd, that like you'll watch this movie and you'll probably end up watching this one probably pretty early on in your movie going career.
I think we watched this movie together for the first time.
Yeah,
I think
probably
we were like 18 or something.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit less than that, because it was right when I was really, really getting into movies, and you know, this one's really high up on the IMDb top 100 movie list. So I was like, oh, seems like a cool movie that we need to check out. And, you know, like I said, it's a movie that is in conversation with hundreds of movies that came before it. I was recently watching an old Martin Scorsese movie called After Hours, and the drug dealer's girlfriend is one of the main stars of After Hours, and she is like at her absolute pinnacle of movie existence, in that like you can't look away when she's in that movie. She's that good. And Quentin Tarantino just like picked her out of that and like plopped her into this because people somehow forgot about her, and it's a crime. But honestly, this is just, I quote this movie literally all the time. I think about this movie literally all the time because it is that good. And it's, again, one of those movies that it's so fun watching an old movie and being like, oh, that's why Quentin Tarantino did this.
You know what? I was talking some shit about Quentin Tarantino earlier. I will admit this movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like and I can see how it kind of changed everything when it came out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the biggest Sundance movie ever, I think. Maybe in conversation with Reservoir Dogs, actually. I'm kind of immediately going back on that because I think it was Reservoir Dogs that was the Sundance movie, and then Pulp Fiction was just like, the movie of the 90s. So, yeah, just an absolute masterpiece. I think that anyone who hasn't seen this one, you need to stop and what you're doing and watch it immediately because it will just blow your mind. It has some of the coolest performances. Samuel Jackson. This is the movie that A, put Samuel Jackson on the map, and also B, revitalized John Travolta's entire career.
Yeah, and it had to be revitalized a couple more times, but this is the one that did it.
Yeah. This movie is way, way, way cooler than you remember.
No, yeah, this is a good movie. This is a great, 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 great movie.
Yeah.
My number 2 is actually, funnily enough, I forget. I was listening to some fucking podcast recently where they were saying that when Pulp Fiction came out in Singapore, they actually re-edited it chronologically. So in Singapore, there's a chronological cut from beginning to end.
No,
because they thought the reel was fucked up, so they re-edited it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I heard that from a good authority. So, anyways, my number 2 is a movie that I first saw as a teenager when I was starting to get really, really into movies. It's an old-ass movie from the 40s, black and white.
40s?
The best love story I've ever seen.
And
that is Casablanca.
Casablanca making number 2. That's
2.
wild.
This movie is kind of everything I want from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's got a phenomenal character arc, snappy dialogue, intrigue, suspense. Like, let's be honest, a little bit of fucking melodrama, too. Like... Easily Humphrey Bogart's best performance. It's it's a masterpiece. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I just didn't quite make it back to before we watched this. Like, I could easily see this being probably on the lower end of my top 100 list, but unfortunately I just couldn't quite get back to this one. But I agree with you. There's a reason why it's a masterpiece. There's a reason why we're still talking about it in 2025. It just oozes charisma.
Yeah, it's true power.
Yeah.
It's the true power of cinema.
Yeah, one of the my favorite buddy endings to a movie. There's kind of something bittersweet about it, and yet so satisfying about the way this one concludes.
Well, it kind of talks about in screenwriting they talk about a want versus a need, a want being something external and a need being something internal. This is the quintessential, okay, he gives up the want, but in doing so fulfills his need, right? So, also a very obvious allegory for World War II and deciding to fight the Nazis. And wouldn't it be great if we all just committed to fighting Nazis again? that'd be fucking cool. But hey, yeah, great movie, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Also, if you buy the DVD, it comes with a Bugs Bunny Warner Bros. Style recreation of the entire movie in 10 minutes. And it's almost just as good as the movie itself with Bugs Bunny as Rick Blaine. But I digress.
So here we are. Number 1.
Numero uno. I'm actually, okay, for those of you at home, I genuinely don't fucking know what your number 1 is.
And I genuinely do know what your number 1 is.
Yeah, because I've said it out both sides of my mouth multiple times.
Yeah. My number 1 is a movie that I think is one of the most powerful films ever made. It's haunting in its delivery. I think that it's a movie that, like I said a few movies ago for you, when we talked Raising Arizona, the first time I saw it, I was just so blown away that as I was watching it, I was like, is this the best movie ever made?
Okay.
And every time I go back and watch this movie, by about the midway point, I go, is this the best movie ever made? And the answer to me is yes, because it is The Thing.
I don't know. You know what's funny is while you were talking, I was kind of like, oh fuck, is it the thing? And then I had to go back in my head. I'm like, wait, has he said it already? And I was like, no, I don't know why. I'm not surprised, but I'm a little surprised.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised.
This is a masterclass in building tension for your characters and building tension in a film period. It's a film that it just marries all of my favorite things about movies and about culture and about just, fiction in general. Like, it pulls sci-fi together with horror. It has Kurt Russell in one of my all-time favorite performances. It has practical effects at maybe the pinnacle of practical effects prior to CGI.
I guess, actually, I should have seen this fucking coming, because it's it's kind of like it's a mishmash of sci-fi and horror, right? So,
exactly, and that's what I've been harping on.
I really should have seen this coming. You've kind of been warning me this whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got all these big ideas too, right? And there's this kind of science element where within the first act of the movie, and it's probably that pivotal point in the screenplay where the head scientist does some calculations and goes, oh, A, we're all doomed, and B, if this thing gets off Antarctica, everybody else is doomed too.
Yeah, this will literally destroy the fucking planet.
What a way to set the tone for the rest of the movie. So, this has one of those all-time ambiguous movie endings that, you have to kind of decide how this actually ends and who may or may not be the thing at the end of this movie. I do have an opinion on that. However, this is also the first episode that we ever did on this podcast, and the reason why is because
it's your all-time favorite movie.
My all-time favorite movie. So, yeah, I just think that, John Carpenter... It's unfortunate that this movie kind of derailed John Carpenter because, looking back on it, it truly is a masterpiece that was just released at the wrong time.
Yeah, it is interesting. I see these videos on my feed all the time where it's like, The Thing, ending explained. Here, we've got some new evidence to show you, right? And I'm like, you fucking dorks don't get it. It doesn't matter who the thing is at the end. It's supposed to be ambiguous, right?
Right.
So, okay. Blake, good choice.
Yeah.
This is a movie that has unfortunately never really resonated with me.
Yeah, and I think you're wrong. As a side note,
I guess.
You said very early on in our top 100 that The Thing wasn't making your list, and I was like, well, you're wrong, but go on.
I'm going to get you for this. Yeah.
I'm going to cut all of you talking about your top 100 from here on.
Fair enough. But, but, I will say I've seen it 3 times now, and every time I see it, I do like it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So maybe I can just kind of, Stockholm syndrome my way into also loving this movie. But no, you know what, Blake, I'm glad this is your top 100 because it does suit you. And obviously my whole thing with this list was being honest. So
Yep.
Yeah. Tight.
Yeah. And what more could I speak to my honesty and who I am than doing a movie about a bunch of dudes doing dude things in Antarctica.
Well, I don't know that you want to phrase it like that, but just guys being dudes.
Just guys being dudes in Antarctica, fighting aliens, trying to survive until spring.
Just guys being dudes, getting assimilated by the thing.
Yeah, trying to figure out what them crazy Norwegians are up to.
Yeah. Oh, Norway, what will you do next? Oh, man. Okay, so my number 1, it shouldn't surprise anyone. I know it won't surprise you, but it is Sergio Leone's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yep, I knew it from the moment of inception of this idea of doing our top 100 that was going to be your number 1.
This has been my number 1 ever since I first saw it, since I was 16.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about this movie, but from the first moment I saw it, I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite movie of all time, and every few years I come back to it, and I'm like, is this still my favorite movie? And I'm like, yep, it sure fucking is. So it's one of the few DVDs I still own. It's a DVD that I've never been able to part with. Mm-hmm. So perfect movie, in my opinion. And then we talked about this a little bit a couple of years ago when we did our full episode on this movie, but I think it really resonates with me, and it sort of, I think, set the tone for my own kind of creative development, where it's it's dark, but it's also funny, and it's kind of deeply sad, and it's also kind of almost post-apocalyptic in scope and in tone, where they're just trekking through this world that's just completely bumfucked into oblivion.
Yep.
Like, one of my favorite things about this movie is how the Civil War is going on around the characters, and in some ways it's like it's a good source of tension because it becomes obstructive at different points where, you know, the characters get taken in as POWs, or like at one point they have to blow up a fucking bridge so they can continue on their
what a scene.
journey. But I also like how the war itself just kind of makes their whole squabble seem so much pettier and like more useless in the grand scheme of things, but in like a really funny way. Also, that final showdown at the end may as well be my favorite finale of a movie. The iconic Mexican standoff. Easily my favorite score of all time. Like, wah, wah, wah. Yeah, no, I mean, Clint Eastwood, Eli Wallach,
the other guy.
I had a moment where I forgot it. I'm so sorry. It's Lee Van Cleef. It's Lee Van Cleef. I know who it is. Sorry, I panicked.
If you say his name another time, he might appear.
Lee Van Cleef. Ah! Damn it. So, anyway, also one of my favorite stories from behind the scenes is there was a moment where Angel Eyes was supposed to slap this woman for information, but Lee Van Cleef was like, "No, I promised myself I would never hit a woman." So they had to like get, and even the actress was like, "It's fine, I don't care," but like they had to get some other guy's hand to be like, "Eh." I imagine there was like some creepy stagehand who was like, "I'll do it, I'll slap her," but yeah. Also, and I said this on our full episode, like the scene where Tuco tries and fails to reconcile with his brother is genuinely the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
I must have a thing for like familial discord, thinking of this, and also the Prince of Egypt. Something about brothers in conflict with each other really gets to me.
Yeah, that's something to talk to about with your therapist, I think.
Maybe it just reminds me of my relationship with you. Anyway, yeah, no, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Cool. I'm so happy that we did this. This has been one of the most fun things that I've been looking forward to for the last year.
Yeah, this was actually like compiling my list, rewatching some old movies, and, you know, slotting in some new ones. I was kind of like, all right, cool. Yeah,
this is really exciting. I don't know if this is quite going to be an annual thing where we revisit, but I think every few years it'll be worth touching up the old
I feel
100.
like this is like almost like it's obviously going to be a living, breathing document.
Definitely.
I almost feel like every 5 years we should do like just one episode where we revisit the list. We're like, has it changed? And it's like, well, actually, yeah.
I mean, like I said, my number 100 through 90 is a lot of movies that are very fluid on my list that, you know, could go way up or you might not see in 2 weeks kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, yeah, this is a list that's going to be ever changing.
There were a couple movies that you mentioned. I'm like, oh yeah, I do love that movie. But then I was also like, I mean, also though, like Fight Club, for instance.
Yep.
I was like, that should have made it onto my top 100. But I'm also like, I mean, if I forgot about it, though, that kind of tells you it doesn't belong on my top 100.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So,
yeah, and I think it was 40-Year-Old Virgin for you that I was like, oh, you know what? That was one that maybe I should have thought about when I was making my list. Because I agree, that's maybe one of the best movies of the Apatow era.
The aughts. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we know each other a little better, Blake.
And everyone else does too now.
Yeah, unfortunately for them.
And understands our sensibilities.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, these guys are weird. I'm going to stop listening.
I can't believe he put The Thing as number 1.
Jeez. I can't believe he didn't put The Thing on his top 100. And then I'll comment under that comment being like, Blake, I know that's you. Like, oh, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm so glad we did this. I hope people had fun because we obviously had a blast doing it.
Yeah, this has kind of been like, actually, by the way, you little shits at home had better appreciate how much effort went into this. Like,
literally hundreds of hours, because I watched a lot of these movies over the last 12 months.
Even beyond that, like how much time we've spent recording and how much time we've spent editing. This is gonna be yet another 2-hour episode I'm gonna have to comb through in the next couple weeks. So, like, comment, and subscribe, okay?
Yeah. So no, as always, tell your dad, and we'll see you next time.
Tell your dad.
Cool.
Bye-bye.